never met.
Good morning. Welcome everyone this morning. Every year during the winter holidays, we have a service dedicated to celebrating Hanukkah. We are in the season of Hanukkah now, and this service is that celebration of Hanukkah. We celebrate Hanukkah for a few reasons. And every year we say these reasons, but this year I think it's very important that we say them clearly to one another, and you'll hear them repeated a few times in the service today for the sake of us all understanding. The first reason that we celebrate is because there are members of this faith community, this congregation, members and friends and visitors, but all part of the life of this congregation, who are Jewish and are of Jewish ancestry, and for whom this is an important part of their spiritual journey, and we are here to support one another. And so the first reason that we celebrate is to celebrate with these folks who are part of our life together here, who we love and who we support. The second reason that we celebrate as an act of solidarity. Anti-Semitism is always a problem in our world. It is pervasive, and it is current, and it is very dangerous. And we stand with people that we love who are Jewish. We stand with the Jewish community in Spartanburg and around the world to refute anti-Semitism. We stand in solidarity. And finally, we celebrate every year not in imitation. We're not here to pretend like we're Jewish, right? But in honor. Because we are part of the prophetic tradition that we can trace through Judaism, Christianity, Islam, all the way through secular humanism today. This is a Western prophetic tradition that proclaims every life has worth and dignity. Every person deserves not only to survive, but to thrive. The articulation in Judaism and the Torah is that the measure of a society is based on how it cares for those who are most vulnerable: widows, orphans, the stranger in a strange land. That is the call. And whatever our belief, we stand in that tradition when we collect coats for immigrants, when we welcome refugees from other lands, when we advocate for one another's lives. We are part of that prophetic tradition that we have inherited from Judaism. And so we celebrate today in gratitude, to give thanks. The best of this tradition refuses to be co-opted by any nationalism. Anyone who would use religion for their own economic and political gain, whether they are a czar in Russia or an aggressive power on any side of a line in the Middle East, or Christian nationalists in the United States, no matter who would use religion for economic and political gain, we refuse that. And we say instead, with that prophetic voice that we have inherited through the ages, the use of religion is for life, mutual thriving for all. So today we celebrate.
Voices in the woods and the prophecies say it's where the world will end, but there's a tremor growing in our own backyard. Fear in our heads, fear in our hearts. Prophets in the graveyard, Jonas and Ezekiel, hear me now. Steady now and don't come out. I'm not ready for the dead to show its face. Whose turn is it anyway? Jonas and Ezekiel, hear me now. Steady now, I feel your ghost about. I'm not ready for the dead to show its face. Whose angel are you anyway? I said there's prophets in the graveyard. Prophets in the graveyard. Prophets in the graveyard.
Okay, good morning. My name is DJ Johnson. I serve on the Board of Trustees of Unitarian Universalist Church of Spartanburg, which is where you are in case you wandered in off the street. Also, I'm on safety, and we could use a few more people. Think of that as Hall of Duty and not Rambo. I'm delighted to, truly, people think it's Hall of Duty, promise you people. Most exciting thing I found was a lost pocketbook. I'm delighted to welcome you here all this morning, whether you're here in the sanctuary or virtually. This is a welcoming congregation where everyone is welcome just as we each are. If you're visiting with us this morning, we would love to meet you, have conversations, answer questions. You will find a visitor card in the pocket in the back of the seat in front of you. Please feel welcome to fill that out, drop it in the plate as it goes by, and someone will try to get up with you, or just grab somebody. These people love to talk, not a problem. There's many important announcements. If you picked up a bulletin, somewhere over in the middle of it, you will see a paper called Connect, which shows you all kinds of things that's happening. This is the season of giving, and social justice has just gone out of their way to give you opportunities to get involved. First off, the Christmas tree at the back of the sanctuary, maybe you saw it when you walked in, that's the giving tree. There's little tags on there where you can choose that and put together a baby kit, or maybe for a child that's 1 year old. Bring it back anytime in December, put it on the tree. Secondly, you can also help keep a child warm by bringing in just lost my paper here, there we go. Lightly used or new coat or jacket for the older children and teens. That can also go under the tree. Oh, I missed a part. The baby kits will be picked up by the Lutheran Immigration and Refugee Services. They will take care of that. Pasos, one of our partners, who serve the Latino children families, will take care of the jackets and the coats. Okay, if you need more things to do, we will be packing holiday food boxes for the kids at Carver. Many times when schools close for holidays, kids don't always get lunch, and so we're trying to fill in that gap. There is a sign-up sheet out on the whiteboard in the foyer. Just go out there and put your John Hancock on there. Fourth, if you're shopping for new books for your kids or grandkids and you don't expect any new additions in the family, you can bring your old books for the kids' books for our little free library. Put those on the book cart in the fellowship hall. Kids like books, regardless of all the internet, TV, they still like books. Moving on to winter solstice. It is that time of year. Can you believe the year's gone already? Thursday, December 21st, will be our winter solstice celebration, which will be held here in the sanctuary. It's usually a beautiful service. We celebrate the longest night going into the new year, so come help us celebrate this year. Two things which are not in your bulletin are happenings because I missed the deadline. 2 free concerts, Christmas concerts. One will be this afternoon. The Spartanburg Jazz Ensemble, also known as the Jazz Band, will be playing a free concert. Our concert's always free. 4 o'clock at Chapman Cultural Center. Now, I'm not a big jazz person, but I love this group. They are so good. And if you can't make it this afternoon, next Sunday, which is 17th, the Spartanburg Community Concert Band, which yours truly is a member of, I sit in the middle of the second row, hiding behind the director. We will also have our concert at 4 o'clock at Chapman Cultural Center. It is also free. you will hear some of our Christmas favorites. We'll have soloists, and you might hear some things you're not used to at Christmas, such as selections from The Nightmare Before Christmas. That's an interesting piece. And The Tale of the Krampus. That's another interesting piece. But it's always cool to have new things to play. So, a lot of things happening. I think I ran through this kind of fast. I talk fast, I get nervous. So, quick recap. Christmas tree in the back, giving tree. Take a tag, bring a gift. Secondly, coats and jackets for the bigger kids. Bring those, put them on the tree. Third, packing food boxes. Downstairs, sign-up sheet on the foyer, in the foyer on that whiteboard. And fourth, books. Kids' books, bring them, put them on the book cart. Someone will take care of that. Winter solstice, come help us celebrate. Thursday, the 21st. And then the 2 free concerts. Remember, free. Maybe your budget is hemorrhaging because of the season. These are free. And the jazz ensemble refers to theirs as the tacky Christmas sweaters. They will be wearing tacky Christmas sweaters. You don't have to do that, but they will be. And the community band, unless we change things Tuesday night, we will not be in tacky Christmas sweaters. Maybe Santa hats, but not tacky Christmas sweaters. And that is all of the announcements. Thank you for making this a place of care, kindness, joy, and glad tidings. And now I will go do my safety job and let you continue.
Good morning. As Scott has already shared, each year we celebrate Hanukkah here at UUCS, not in imitation, but in solidarity with friends and members of our congregation who are Jewish, with the Jewish community in Spartanburg, with whom our congregation is a partner, and whose members are our family, friends, and neighbors, for whom we have great love and care. And also as an act of public witness against anti-Semitism and in gratitude for the wealth of gifts Judaism bestows on our culture and our lives. As we light the chalice this morning, we are holding up light in the darkness, especially in a time of multiple wars, rising anti-Semitism and rising Islamophobia. The light is to illuminate a better path for us all. These words come from the song, Let There Be Peace on Earth, written by Jill Jackson Miller and Cy Miller, which you will hear later in the service. And it is really hard to read them and not sing them, but I'm not going to do that. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. Let us walk with each other. Now I invite you to join in hymn 221 in the gray hymnal, Light One Candle.
I want to let you know that we're going to sing each chorus twice. Candle
Our rippling bowl is an important ritual in the life of this congregation. It is a way we come together in community, as a church family, as a family of love, welcome, and care for every person, to share our joys and concerns. Each week, we gather to place a stone or a shell in the water. The ripples created in the water are symbolic of the ripples of care that spread out from this place when we share with each other. We know that joys shared are multiplied and concerns shared are lessened. For those of you joining us from home, I will place a stone and shell in the rippling bowl to represent the joys and concerns that you are holding on to. You can come now and share with each other. Every week, we remind ourselves of how we strive to live in community with one another. We don't have a creed that we speak together because we do not all share the same beliefs. Instead, this church wrote a covenant that guides the ways in which we live in relation to each other. It helps us know how to support not only each other, but our community wider than this space. This congregation truly embraces these words and seeks to live them, recognizing that sometimes we fall short. The words are intentional, the words are powerful, and they are taken seriously as we strive to create the world that we know is possible. Please join me in speaking these living words together. We are a people of faith and hope. Together we covenant to strive to become our better selves, to honor both the critical mind and the generous heart, to prove that diversity need not mean divisiveness, and to respond to systems of violence and oppression with the power of a love beyond belief. And now we are at another sacred place in our service where we greet one another. Please approach this time in the way that is most comfortable for you, whether that is staying in your seat or getting up and moving around the sanctuary. We just ask that you take your cues from the person in front of you and how they might like to be greeted. If you're joining us virtually this morning, please take some time and reach out to someone on your mind. So go and greet one another and then head back to your seats when Aaron plays a few bars. Go. You are people who give and give and give in so many different ways. I would say that generosity is a central tenet of this congregation. You give so much of yourselves and your resources to this incredible place and to our wider community. You far outdo what many would think is possible in a church this size. We do and can continue to do big things here. To do these big things, we all share our time and our giftedness. And it also takes financial gifts, which we will gratefully receive at this time. One of the many ways we do big things is through Share the Plate each month. This December, we support immigrant and refugee children in Spartanburg who are served by partner PASOS and Lutheran Immigration Refugee Services. For gifts collected in the offering plates this morning, half of all undesignated gifts and all designated gifts go to Share the Plate. You can also donate to that online anytime this month. When we each share our many gifts with and through this place, we help create the world that we know is possible, a world that is better for us all. As the offering plate comes around, let us continue to give generously.
Where have all the flowers gone? Long time passing. Where have all the flowers gone? Long time ago. Where have all the flowers gone? Young girls have picked them, everyone. Oh, when will they ever learn? Oh, when will they ever learn?
When all the young girls gone, long time passing. Where have all the young girls gone? A long time ago. Where have all the young girls gone? Gone to young men, everyone. When will they ever learn? When will they ever learn?
Where have all the husbands gone? Long time passing. Where have all the husbands gone? Long time ago. Where have all the husbands gone? Gone for soldiers, everyone. Oh, when will they ever learn? Oh, when will they ever learn? Where have all the soldiers gone? Long time passing. Where have all the soldiers gone? Long time ago. Where have all the soldiers gone? Gone to graveyards, everyone. Oh, when will they ever learn? Oh, when will they ever learn? Where have all the graveyards gone? Long time passing. Where have all the graveyards gone? Long time ago.
light one candle for the strength that we need to never become our own foe. At the end of this service, someone at the door might ask me, but what do we do? What do we do? The problems are so big. The pain is so great. What do we do? So I'm going to give you the punchline now. This is one thing that we can do. An authoritarian leader in Russia, a country with a history of anti-Semitism, has attacked the Jewish president of Ukraine. An authoritarian leader in Israel sought to change his constitution to protect his own political future. Split the country in two, and focus was lost on protecting the people. And now almost 20,000 people are dead. We're not partisan here ever. We are prophetic. When a former political leader of our own country says in an interview during an election season that he would be dictator only on the first day if he were elected, the thing that we can do is vote. Join me in silence. Together we build this beloved community. Many months ago, one of our members, Bernie Kukuski, asked me to speak about the importance of family. This is a terrifying enough prospect in itself, given my own experience of family and the experiences that so many of you have shared with me. This is a very challenging topic. Then war in the Middle East broke out, and he said, don't worry about it. You've got bigger things to deal with now. Of course, it's a world we share. We all have bigger things to deal with. But family is not so separate from these larger challenges that we face. In years past, we have enjoyed the presence of a family that loved to lead us in this service. They are still beloved in the heart of this community and very connected with us. Palma and Mitch Eisner. The menorah that they bequeathed to us when they moved to another city is being used right now in RE class to talk with our children about the importance of respecting one another's faiths and standing up to anti-Semitism. And we miss Mitch and Palma. We miss their presence in this service. We can feel their absence. We send them our love. Today we have a menorah that our Director of Religious Education, Sybil Argentar, has shared with us. We're not lighting the candles because we are not here equipped to do what is needed to go through that candle lighting. We're not here to imitate. We're here in solidarity. But this was Sybil's mother's menorah, her mother who died this past year, a point of great grief for Sybil. Of all of our spiritual traditions, Judaism, perhaps most of all, develops itself out of the importance of family, a sense of family. And so for Sybil to share this with us today, in the wake of her mother's death and her own grief, is very significant. It's not only beautiful, it is deeply meaningful. We don't have a lit menorah here, but we do have little clay lamps, oil lamps. These are replicas of oil lamps from Israel and Palestine. And if you look on the back, there are dates that tell you what era these lamps would come from. I'm just going to pass these around, and I want to encourage you to hold them. You can touch them. You can gently squeeze them. When we sing about lighting one candle, shining a light, this is the origin of those images. This smallest one is from the Hasmonean period in Jewish history. This is when the story of Hanukkah originates. This small lamp. As you hold these, pass them between each other, consider how fragile this light is. Consider how deep and old the tradition that we are a part of. The care that it takes to keep this light shining. Hold these objects from the war-torn earth while we talk today. Bernie asked me to speak about the importance of family. It's a difficult topic, as you well know. One of the things that he asked that I reflect on with you is even harder than just family itself. There's a lot of research into family now, the importance of family in our lives and in the structuring of society. A lot of research which seems fairly obvious but is difficult. I do a lot of work with a community group focused on ending child poverty in Spartanburg County. And we rely on data generated by think tanks and research groups, folks who investigate this stuff in depth. And one of the constant data points in all the reports on economic mobility and poverty and trying to help folks find a better life, trying to help us structure society in a way that can provide a better life for us all, is what a person's family life looks like. Is there abuse? Is there deprivation? Is it a single-parent household? These are data points that are tracked, and they are indicators of the chances a person has to move in their life economically. And we can understand If you have two working parents both bringing in incomes, that greatly increases the economic viability of a household, right? If there's one parent working multiple jobs to make it work for their kids, that's hard. You know what I'm talking about. Many of you have done this, heroes that you are. But we know that sometimes families do need to break apart. We know that sometimes we need to get out, or somebody needs to go away. You know what I'm talking about. And so when we look at this data that talks about the importance of family, it's important for us to turn it upside down and to flip it over and to think carefully about what's being said. It certainly helps for us to have the support not only of one, but of many adults when we're growing up. Adults who love us and care for us. And it helps to have distance from adults who do not. There's a wonderful new spin on all of this research that's just come out that looks at indigenous groups and the ways that they structure their families. It's none of this, is it a single or double parent household? The measurements are how many competent caring adults help care for a child across a 24-hour period. And researchers will sit noting every minute what a child-adult interaction is. The wisdom that comes forward from this is wisdom out of evolutionary biology. And the wisdom is that we don't need one or two competent parents. We need a whole network of people who care for us every day. What this research shows us is that the very way we've constructed our society is deeply flawed. Our individualism, how did the song say it? Is making us our own foes. That by saying to two parents, better make it, or if a family needs to separate, to one parent, good luck, we are going against thousands of years of evolutionary biology that says, everybody, we have got to be game on for these kids. Everybody. We've got to do this work together. Because the truth is that families form and change and break apart and reconfigure all the time. And the story that there's one right way to be a family is a false story. And the ideologues who would co-opt that for political or religious agendas are lying to us. They are just lying to us. It's not because I don't care about family, I do. It's not that I don't work hard at being in a family. God knows that I do. I know what I did yesterday to work at being part of a family. Yeah, what? If I tell you, we might break apart. And here's what gives the lie to the small view, the less creative view, the reductive view. Every religious tradition around the world tells a story of origin. Whatever the belief, whatever the worldview, whatever the cosmology, I'm not talking about belief here, tells a story. And every daggum one of those stories is about a family that does not fit the norm. Let me just offer a couple of examples. Moses, the prophetic founder of Judaism, comes from a long line of fathers and sons who cheat, steal, and deceive each other, sell each other into enslavement, and abandon each other. Sometimes they make up. It is a Greek tragedy of dysfunction that the Greeks have trouble keeping up with. In Moses' own story, he is separated from his family out of the exigency of threat of genocide. Right? An anti-Semitic campaign by the Pharaoh of Egypt. And Moses finds himself hidden in the home of the Pharaoh. Right? It'd be as if one of these authoritarian leaders that I've invoked already today adopted you into their family. Right? Imagine living in the home of one of those people that I named. How comfortable you'd be. No wonder Moses runs away. And his whole story comes out of a lineage of broken family and of himself fleeing an adopted family because it was not good inside the house. The whole story of the people of Israel arises out of the messiness and dysfunction of generations of family. Not one perfect, ideal, normative family in the bunch. Christianity. For centuries, theologians have argued over who dad is. And whatever happened, and whoever the father was, at some point, he was no longer there. Because the stories of Jesus on the cross have his mother there weeping alone, a single mother, and he turns to one of his friends and says, "You're going to be her son now." He adopts one of his best friends into his family as he's dying so that his mother will be cared for. Not at all the way a normal family would look, but creating something to work, to help each other through. In this season of lights and celebrations where we think about Hanukkah and Christmas and Kwanzaa, a large part of the world celebrates the enlightenment of the Buddha in December every year. Right? Figure of wisdom and compassion, person who saw into the depths of reality to bring an enlightening truth that could relieve us of suffering. Please, oh please. But the Buddha's spiritual journey begins by walking out on his wife and child. Siddhartha Gautama is an absentee father. He blows it. The point in all of this is that nobody has a normal family. Everybody's family is, you insert the word. Everybody's family is whatever up. Mine, yours, Moses, Buddha's, everybody's. That's the legacy of family. But part of the beauty of these spiritual traditions, I'm not talking about belief. I don't care about belief. What I care about is the wisdom. Part of the beauty of these traditions that they're trying to share with us through these stories is that the point, out of all that brokenness, out of all that dysfunction, is to create a community where everybody belongs. The Buddha, the culmination of his enlightenment, begins to gather together friends and enemies, people who think he's lost his mind. And they form a community in which they share and work for one another's benefit, one another's mutual good. And eventually, even his wife and son come to be a part of this community. And his wife tells him off. Can you imagine telling off the Buddha? One person in the world could do it, and she did. Out of the brokenness, he forms a community of radical inclusion and love. He comes to imagine all beings as part of that community. Out of Moses' double family brokenness, birth home and adopted home, both broken. He runs from both. He becomes the leader of a newly formed people who are enjoined at the time that they are formed at Mount Sinai to welcome the stranger among them. And do they forget? Yes, they do. But throughout their tradition are story after story after story about weird combinations of families that fit no normative mold. The greatest of these stories is the story of Ruth, who is the great-great-grandmother of the archetypal king David, the great classical king of Israel. Ruth isn't Jewish. She's not Israelite. She comes from an adjoining territory. We would call it today Jordan or Palestine. That's who the great-great-grandmother of the great King David is. And Jesus, out of all the brokenness of his life, calls together a community of people. Just before he dies, he says, this is how people are going to know that you belong to this community, that you just love each other. You just love each other. Here's what all of these traditions are telling us. There is no norm, but we deeply need each other. Every one of our families is whatever up. Whatever word you want to stick in there, that's what our families are like. But we have the power to create something better. Over and over again, to create something better. To learn from all that was messed up, to try to build something more. Look at us all sitting here today. How many of us have come from blanked up religious families? Congregations that call themselves families, unless you didn't fit the mold, and then they kicked you out. It was made clear you didn't belong. And look what we are doing gathered here. Trying again to create something better. Something more true. Something where not one parent or two parents, but many caring, competent adults try to care for children by age and children at heart. To try to create a place of love. We know the need and the pressures of our life. And we know the need and the beauty when we touch it. How wonderful it is when that deep, true family manifests, even for just a moment. Many years ago now, I spent a month in Israel, and then a month in Gaza. And I spent time volunteering in organizations, living in people's homes, talking to people who were resident there and to UN workers trying to serve there. It was the most blanked up place I had ever been, I thought. Everybody in a fight with everybody else. And this was only after the first Intifada. All that has happened in the last 20 years had not yet transpired. Now things are much worse. When I was there, I met a small group of people, so small. And they had formed a small organization. They called it Reut Tzedakah, Tzedakah Reut, a Hebrew word and an Arabic word. And their commitment was to build community with each other. Their commitment was to sit together, to eat with each other, to talk with each other, to confront one another with their different theologies and different ideologies, their different politics, to say to each other what each other's stories were, but to hang together. Because they knew that in a world of historical anti-Semitism, Jewish people need a haven in which to live. The United States' refusal of ships bearing refugees from Nazi Germany should stand as a lighthouse for us of how pervasive anti-Semitism is. And they knew that Arab Israelis and Palestinians need a home too, where they can also live. And that a society with first and second class citizens is not a true democracy. This little band of people in whose lives is the total brokenness of our history and our human family. Two people thrown together in the vice grip of history, pitted against each other with all the other nations of the world, looking on and pointing fingers. This little group of people bearing all of that pain, all of that brokenness, still striving together to create a community where they all belong.
I would love if you would join me on this song if you know it, and the words are in your order of service. Let there be peace on earth, and let
As we extinguish the chalice, remember that each of us carries light out into this world that is so very complex and difficult. We strive for a world of mutual thriving for all beings, where everyone has enough and no one has to be afraid. This striving is the light we seek to shine each day. Hear words once more from Let There Be Peace on Earth. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my solemn vow. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
Someone's going to ask me at the door, but what do we do? Authoritarian leaders will willingly mess us up. Authoritarian leaders who may be a biological father or a biological mother or an adopted father or an adopted mother or some other adult who knew better, or a czar, or a prime minister, or a once and would-be president. Authoritarian leaders will mess us up willingly. But we have the power, echoing through the ages of all of our traditions, to create the families that we need for the mutual thriving of all people. You create the family you need. And vote.